Good evening. Magandang gabi po sa mga kababayan na nakikinig. I had some technical difficulties, but I'm back. Here we are. Um, let's do this. Let's see. There we go. So tonight, I'm so excited to kick off a new live series once a week until the book launch of Shame to Shalom, Grieving to be Filled, and a 21-day devotional experience that goes with this book. Thank you for being here. So, let me share a background story about these journals that you see. You see, I was someone who looked fine on the outside, but inside I carried unhealed wounds and shame. It affected my everyday life. And through Jesus healing me, I am healed and continue to be healed. That's why I wrote this book, Shame to Shalom, Grieving to be Filled. And the other reason why this is such an important thing, I wrote this book because I know how it feels to be lost. I know how it feels to be in a chaotic world, and I really believe that you don't have to be a spectator, be at the bleachers. I do believe that you have the power to step into the field of healing and discover the peace of God has for you. So, I'm just going to break it down what to expect for the next few weeks. We're going to talk about and breaking down what shame really means, how it can disguise itself as a pride or false humility. And also, before I continue, this journal basically the my healing journey. I started journaling back in 2019, 2020, and living in the RV. One of the things I've done is to journal with God every morning or the moment that I'm alone. It helps me to release a lot of my emotion, and I share this that practices here. And going to counseling, healing retreats, it kind of helped me connect the dots of what I was going through because I didn't have a language. Like I said, it looks good on the outside, but the inside, I was really dying inside. And I was like this young mom, everything looks good. We have this big house and we have a pool, we have a car, but inside, I knew there's just something not right. And I had to change that. And this is the thing that we're gonna walk it out and talk about in this next few weeks and once a week live. And writing is such a powerful tool because it gave me an opportunity to connect the dots for me in my healing. And I want to pay forward it to you. And also during this week, we're going to talk about what shalom means. I've been sharing in my past content that shalom not only means peace, it means wholeness, nothing missing, nothing broken. And the other thing we're going to talk about is why grieving is part of the healing journey and what it actually looks like. And I'm going to share this framework called Let's Walk It Out because I truly believe that healing is a participation. And I'm going to talk about that in a few minutes. And how it helps you to take small steps that helps you to grow, heal, and also receive the peace of God. And I'm also going to share the power of grieving my own childhood story and how pride and false humility kept me stuck. And if this is resonating with you, please comment shalom and get on the wait list and get some gifts. I have some gifts coming up in the next few weeks before the launch. So if this resonating with you, make sure to comment. And You know, I am here for you because I know I'm not the only one who had experienced this. And finally, we're going to talk about what this book process looks like for you, how you can read it on your own or read it and then join me 10 days later for 21-day devotional experience where I can be like your tour guide through your healing journey. And this is why I wrote all these journals is because one of the things that helped me is the devotionals. I remember being a young mom raising three little ones in an RV. It was pretty tough. So whenever I get a chance, I would get into my devotional as something that helped me to keep my routine to to anchor me in Jesus. So that's some of the things that we're gonna talk about this next few weeks. And remember how I told you, and if you're reading this title about are you a spectator or a participant, can I just share this small story? Okay. Since football season is back, here's the picture that helped me explain this. You see, growing up in the Philippines, football wasn't part of our culture. When I came to the US, I thought the game was simple. You throw the ball, catch it in the end zone to make a touchdown, and then dance. Silly, right? But when I learned more about football, I realized it's a strategy, teamwork, sacrifice, and yes, their playbooks. That just blew my mind, right? Every player has a role to play to move the ball forward. It takes a whole team to do it, and some of them gets hit hard. Ouch. Ooh. And why is this important? Because faith and healing are the same. You can just sit in the bleachers and spectate. It costs you something to participate. Humility, surrender, learning to feel, facing old wounds. But just like in football, the reward is worth it. And here's the good news. In football, victory is uncertain, right? But in faith, we do not need to make bets because the victory is already secured. Jesus has already won. Why this matters? It matters because we live in a culture where emotional intelligence has been ignored. Maybe like me, you grew up thinking emotion were weakness or sin. But emotions are part of your soul. They are signals that tell you where God wants to meet you. And my friend, healing is not passive. You cannot spectate your way into peace. You have to grieve, to feel, and let God renew your mind. This is why I invest in my healing, in my growth. I could not, I knew in my heart that there is a better way, and Jesus was that better way. And Jesus showed me that there's therapy, coaches, books, and mentors that could help me in my healing and in my growth. Because if you want to heal, if you want to grow, you cannot do nothing. You gotta do your part. And one story in the Bible that really caught me is the story of the lame man who is waiting in the water fountain to get healed. And I remember in the Bible study that we were reading, I love how the author put out like why would Jesus ask a layman who's been laying there wanting to be healed if he wants to be healed? So this author asked this man, the layman, do you want to be healed? I mean, of course he does, right? I mean, he's laying there waiting to be healed. But what Jesus is really asking is that not only do you want to be healed, do you want to change your life? Because as I learn, as I read the Middle Eastern culture in those times, when you are disabled and a layman, the way you live your life is by begging, asking for money. And this lame man have to change his whole life when he gets healed, when he start walking. And I remember talking to one of my coaches that how we all have a cross to carry. And that kind of made me see when Jesus said, take your pallet and walk. I think that's kind of a good reminder to know where he came from and where he's going. And that inspired me to write this book because we all have that experiences and stories that have messed our minds, our soul. But I'm here to tell you, my friend, that there is a healer. There is a healer that could help you change your life in a better way. Yet, it's also our part. So here is my invitation to you. Okay. You can do the book on your own, or you can do the book and then join me for 21-day devotional experience starting October 27th. Think of it like you have a friend walking with you step by step, helping you process grief, move from shame and into God's shalom, peace, wholeness, safety, comfort. Like I said, you don't have to do your healing alone. This book launches on October 17th and the experience begins 10 days later, October 27th. So here is my question for you and make sure to comment, drop some comment and your answer. Are you spectating or are you participating in your healing? Let me know and drop that in the comments. Also, drop your questions because it will help me to know what to cover in the next lives. And if you already know you want in, make sure to comment Shalom and I'll send you the waitlist link. My friend, thank you for being here. Thank you for being patient with me. I'll see you guys next week again. And we're going to talk about shame. What is shame? How does it show up in our everyday life? And what can we do to go from shame to this? That will be the next few lives that we're going to talk about. Have a great night. Salamat po means thank you in Tagalog. I'll talk to you soon. This is Shalom, the Saver Mama.